Hello, hello. Welcome to Confidence with Coffee. I'm Heather Jean, your host, and this is the segment that we talk about our latest podcast or vodcast episode and kind of the key learnings and key reflections that our guests have shared with us. So, if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, you can get hold of the full podcast or vodcast episode right here on the Confidence Through Cabaret YouTube channel. Just look under the vodcast playlist. If you want to hear the audio version, the podcast, then search Confidence Through Cabaret anywhere you get your podcasts, and you'll have full access to the full episode, which is an amazing episode. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to hear this episode. So, this week, we talked to the wonderful Gundega, the financial coach. And it was so much more than money mindset. I mean, we've had money mindset guests on before. I adore the topic. It's not my area of expertise, but if you've been around Confidence Through Cabaret for a little while now, you'll know that my business model is very much about collaborations. So it is all things confidence. That's what the podcast and vodcast is all about. And largely that's what our kind of all of our socials flavor is. I help women build unshakable confidence. And that might be in their personal life, their work life, or stage life, whatever your stage might be. So we help to find different coaches, different sources, different programs to help people kind of connect with what it is that you need to build your confidence. At the heart of it, though, is always about start from where you're strong. What do you already know, or what can you already do? And then we build from there. It's like having a really solid foundation when you build your house. So, in this week's episode, we were talking about mindfulness and finances, but we were also talking about finding harmony and balance between the masculine and the feminine. And we talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy in different aspects, and it occurs to me in this episode that when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, it's the same in whatever context we're talking about, whether that's you want to raise your confidence in terms of how you feel and how you come across in your stage life, as is the work that a lot of the work that I do, or if it's in relation to building your financial goals and really kind of reaching your dreams financially, or maybe it's around talking with sex therapists and around kind of feeling good in your body in a very different and sexual way, or maybe it's around being inspired by others' journeys that they've gone through to find true confidence. But I think, with this week, when we talk about masculine and feminine energy, as we often do, then we're talking about it about money. And right away, what comes to mind when I think of money is that it's a masculine energy topic. It's not purely a masculine energy topic, but that's what comes to my mind. So for those of you new to the masculine and feminine world of energy, then when we're talking about masculine, we're talking about drive, we're talking about results, we're talking about competition, we're talking about strategy, we're talking about action, we're talking about the doing side of things, right? So for me, money comes up. It's like, how do I get money? What steps, actions do I need to take in order to get money? Or in order to earn what it is that I'm trying to achieve, or what goals that I'm trying to reach, not always about money. But there is the feminine side as well. And for feminine, it's about creativity, it's about intuition, it's about feeling, it's about really kind of getting deeper into who we are. And I shared in this episode that, I've had a corporate training and coaching business for over 25 years, 26 years this year now. And so I always thought that I was very in touch with my feminine side. I wore skirts, high heels, lipstick, always had nails painted, did all the, earrings, all the stereotypical Western girl kind of thing. I was, oh yeah, I'm very feminine. But I was always focusing on drive, results, strategy, actions, and I was doing that in the costume of what would be a stereotypical female. And that is not the same thing. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. What doesn't matter what your gender or sexuality it relates to. This is about different energies. And it's very unfortunate that they're called masculine and feminine, particularly now as we redefine the various spectrums and movement on them. But, I always think about, you know, when I think about money and how to earn it or what to do, that's very masculine. But when I spoke with Gundega, she was sharing with us around, kind of like how much money do you have in the bank? And then how do you feel about that? Now, for me, that fills me with a lot of dread at various times. It's one of these roller coaster things. And it's what Gundega talks about as money avoidance. I don't like to acknowledge the feelings involved around money. And so that would be me tapping into the feminine side of energy. Now, even when things are going particularly well and there is a surplus of income for me, I still don't like to acknowledge the feelings around it, which suggests that there are some blocks or beliefs around, what do I feel or believe when I'm earning money? Am I deserving? Um, what does it mean? My mother used to talk about you're such a snob because I was earning lots of money and I didn't have to, think about what I was spending. And she would say, oh, that's very snob, so because they had always come from a place of deficit and of, having to work hard and, having to worry about money and that money was a scarcity. So when I had abundance of cash flow, then my mum would sort of counter that with that's not really right, that you're becoming a snob, and that wasn't true. That wasn't true at all. I've done a lot of work around repositioning those beliefs, and I help women and femme identify, not only but especially women, to really kind of examine their beliefs. For me, I don't have a financial background. I talk about, how we feel in our body. I talk about how we feel and believe about ourselves. So things like imposter syndrome to help build that visibility, that expansiveness unapologetically, and also to help build that, that really strong belief so that when times are kind of going up and down, we have that unshakable confidence to go back to that solid place. And that is about adjusting our beliefs. So I have done the work on adjusting beliefs. However, when I was talking with Gundega on this week's podcast episode, it became apparent that when she said right at the beginning of the episode, check your financial situation and then acknowledge how do you feel, I thought, ooh, I don't want to do that. So right after this, that's the work that I have to do now, is some journaling and some work around that. But I think, when what we talk about in this episode is so related around authenticity and, showing up authentically, that is a huge amount of work around feminine energy. We talk about resistance. We talk about triggers. We talk about strategies. And what's interesting is that we are applying it to money because Gundega is the financial coach, but we could just as easily be comparing it to body confidence or to, all kinds of different topics, whatever your topic is, how to be a coach, how to sell, any different topic, those same things would be covered. And so I felt very certain going into this episode because I thought, okay, well, I know how to adjust beliefs and I understand masculine and feminine energy and I understand imposter syndrome and I'm okay with this until somebody else starts asking you those questions. And that's why we get a coach, right? And I pointed this out in the episode as well about, that's why we have a personal trainer when we go to the gym, right? We can all do squats, but if you got a personal trainer, they take you further and deeper and the results are much richer. So I sort of listened to the questions in this episode and then kind of went, oh, yeah, there's some work. There are some things I don't want to acknowledge. Let's have a listen to Gundega's answer to my question around what is balance and how do we find it? See, that's beautiful, isn't it? It's about finding harmony, and it's about abundant mindset and having abundant energy. That is such a great way to describe what we talk about as balance, because we all know what balance is. But I think, if you were to stand on one foot, you would be balancing. If you were trying to, I don't know, I've got a pen here. If we were trying to balance on our finger, that's balance. So we know what balance is. But and if you have a yoga practice, it's a good example. If you're in a yoga pose or flow and you are not aligning things properly, if you are not breathing properly, if you are not mindful and focused in the right space, if any of those things are off, you will fall. You just will. Or at least stumble, at least wobble. So it's about really kind of aligning all of those things. And I love what Gundega talks about here around, kind of finding that harmony of all of the things that go into it. So it's a very rich conversation. It's a very honest conversation from my side of things. I asked some questions that are really coming from not only because I know the audience and what we're talking about usually in Confidence Through Cabaret, but also from my own point of view. So I love having you here. I appreciate any comments. Please like and subscribe when you're watching this. And I think when we all support one another, when we all collaborate, then we get into that flow and we get into that abundance. So I really appreciate exchanging energy with not only my guests like Gundega this week, but also with yourselves, with our audience, with our community. I don't tend to think of you as separate to me, as in you're sitting here listening. I'd love to interact. Reach out to me on Confidence Through Cabaret on all of the socials. I'm also Heather Jean on all of the socials if you wanted to reach out more personally, but I'm constantly in the Facebook community on Confidence Through Cabaret. So that is where I hang out. Check out the other videos on this YouTube channel. We have spent a lot of time, effort, and energy in curating various playlists to help you find the specific topic that is most effective and important for you at this time. And you might find that this doesn't really relate to me right now, but it might relate to you in the coming weeks. So we're always here and available for whatever it is that you need to build unshakable confidence. Of course, the jewel in the crown is confidencethroughcabaret.com, where we house all of the masterclasses from myself, from other professionals who share personal life, work life, or stage life masterclasses to help you really build confidence. And there are workshops in there. There's a chair dance and a floor dance workshop, and there's all kinds of different things in there to help you really feel great in your body, as well as to overcome some of the imposter voices in your head. So I loved Gundega's answer this week around, what cabaret performance that she would love to perform, what prop, and what would that be like. So go and check out this episode and you'll be able to hear all about that. And that's how you know that when my guest gets it and they choose a very expansive prop for their cabaret performance that we're imagining, then you know that they get that whole kind of what it means to authentically have confidence and own your space unapologetically. All of the socials are Confidence Through Cabaret, except for Twitter, which is at YBYWYS, and I am on Clubhouse as at Heather YBYWYS, and those 6 little letters stand for the reminder that it is your body, and it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and own it. See you again. Bye for now.